And we begin this hour with legal matters. The High Court in Pretoria will today hear a bid brought by the Society for the Protection of Our Constitution, who are seeking relief for illegal miners who are refusing to emerge from a disused shaft in Stilfontein. The High Court granted interim measures at the weekend, which ordered the unblocking of the mine shaft to allow people to exit and to make way for non-emergency personnel to enter that mine shaft. Now, the application by the Society, which holds the primary objective to protect, uphold and promote the Constitution, was triggered by a statement made by Minister in the Presidency, Kumbuno Nchabeni, who stated, among other things, that miners would be smoked out and persecuted. In fact, she also added that they will not be helping, or no help will be sent to criminals. The applicants say this perceived governance stance is in direct conflict with the fundamental rights enshrined in the Constitution, specifically the right to life. All right, so we're watching the story, of course, very closely. Let's take you to the High Court in Pretoria. That's where we find our reporter, Canny Maphanga, who joins us now live. And Canny, it might be a bit confusing that we're back there today because there were interim measures issued at the weekend. So help us place what the substance of today's litigation is about.
Indeed. Good morning to you, Ayanda, and to the viewers at home. Well, you've correctly. Those were interim measures. Of course, the court must make a final determination on this issue, which brings us back to the Gauteng High Court in Pretoria today. When those applicants approached the court on Saturday, it was on an urgent basis to preserve those rights in Chapter 2 of the Constitution. That is the Bill of Rights that affords us those fundamental rights to all those who live in South Africa, especially the right to life, which I think the application was concerned about. And of course, they got that interim order granting them the end to the blockade of that particular mine shaft, and then of course allowing those emergency personnel to go into that shaft in order to provide the healthcare, the water, the food and any other humanitarian aid that those suspected zamazamas would need in the time that they are underground. So essentially what you'll see today is the main application where the applicants, that is the Society for the Protection of the Constitution, will advance their arguments with respect to the obligations on the government with respect to the Constitution. What triggered this application to begin with, Ayanda, were the statements made by the Minister in the Presidency, that is Ms. Kumbuno Nchabeni, who stated that they, quote-unquote, would not be sending any help and that, quote-unquote, criminals needed to be persecuted. So of course, against that backdrop, the applicants took that as an official government stance towards this widespread issue of artisanal mining that is a prominent feature of South Africa's landscape. Now, with respect to that statement and getting the understanding from that stance or quote-unquote position that there would not be any aid to those individuals that were underground, it is against that backdrop rather that they approached the court for that relief. Of course, they got the interim measures that will preserve those fundamental rights that are afforded in the Bill of Rights, but this matter must be adjudicated in full and reach a final determination, which is why we're at the Gauteng High Court in Pretoria today, where the application will be heard in full at 10 a.m.
All right, as soon as that begins, of course, we'll be back live in court with you. But for now, Canny Maphanga, live to us there from the High Court in Pretoria. Thanks very much indeed.